Joe, you kind of asked this question a little early because you know how the docket is gonna go. So I feel like you were setting me up for the alley oop, and I'm gonna dunk it. Because asking that question, we gotta ask. After last night, we watched a team go down to Brazil, put hands on the Packers. Well, some would say it was a close game, and then end up losing the game to the Falcons 22-21. And the questions are starting to buzz now. Once the team starts losing, we all gotta ask: are the Eagles overrated? I'm gonna shock some people with this one. Even though this team had the 2-9 in their last 11 games, they lost some key pieces. They lost Kelsey. He was on the broadcast talking about the tush push and how he passed the play down and that. And then Fletcher Cox is no longer on the defensive line. That's another captain that they lost. Brandon Graham's still out there falling on people, but that's just the inside joke. Make sure you join the chats. I'm not gonna say no, they're not overrated, because I don't think so many people were too high on the team. Well, for me anyway. They did add Saquon, but they have to prove it after the decline that they had last year. So I'm not gonna say no, they're not overrated. Did they overrate their free agency? Yes. But as a team, I don't think they're overrated, because a lot of people said they have to prove it to us. What can the quarterback do? That's my opening soliloquy. I'm gonna leave the floor open.
What do I think though? Yes, I think everybody had this team on going to this team will be the number one seed. This is what was going on in the offseason. This is gonna be the number one seed. This is gonna be the best team in the NFC. They got Jalen Hurts, they got Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Yes, they're overrated. After, like you just said, they was 2-11, 2-9 in the last 11 games. And you got them winning like the NFC in the offseason. After the debacle they had last season, going into the next season, the Eagles is one of the best teams in the NFL. Everyone's saying it, every commentator saying it, and now you see they're struggling. They are overrated right now. I don't think they're a bad team, but I don't think they're as good as everyone proclaimed them to be. Last night was just to show you, like, everybody got the blame on everybody else. The blame is, it's Saquon Barkley didn't make the catch. Kellen Moore should have ran the ball. The offense had a great day. They ran the ball great. Jalen Hurts put the team on his back. I mean, like, he dropped one pass. I don't know how many offensive snaps that they had off the top of my head, but if you mess up one time, you lose the game. No. Kellen Moore called a great game. They were up the whole game. They were up. Even when Saquon Barkley dropped that pass, they were up. They went forward on every fourth down except that last one when it was 4th and 3. They kicked the field goal. They were still up. The defense gave up 70 yards in 35 seconds. The defense didn't do anything. After the first quarter, they scored on every drive. What did the defense do? And, like, people were not even saying anything. They was hitting hard up. So what? You're a football player. You're supposed to hit somebody. You hit. That's what you do as a defensive player. Because you hit somebody hard, that don't mean that you had a great game. The defense is the reason why they lost that game. 100%. It's not on Saquon. It's not on Kellen Moore. It's not on the offense. It's not on Jalen Hurts. I'm the most hardest critic on Jalen Hurts. He did not lose in that game yesterday. He actually played really good. He was taking lanes, running when he had to, throwing the ball, lack of receivers. He was getting Devontae Smith involved. He did everything he could. He got him down on that last drive. It was a 7-minute and 16-second drive, that last drive. 7 minutes. And you kick the field goal while you're up. And your defense, in the last minute and 23 seconds, give up a touchdown. It was 23 seconds left after they scored. But you don't want to give it's on Kellen Moore. Saquon should have caught that? Okay. I'm done.
Dave?
I want to answer a comment that Kev had put up here. Kev, I don't know if that loss to us messed up your brain last year, but y'all didn't start 10-0 last year. You remember you lost the early game in the season to the Jets.
8-1.
And Zach Wilson. That was like week 6. So you didn't start off 10-0. And clearly after you played us, you guys were clearly overrated. So I don't think you should have mentioned that comment. But I will say this though. I won't say that they're overrated right now. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks into the season. They won a game in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers, a team that a lot of other people think that would represent the NFC in the Super Bowl this year. I've seen multiple times that people have picked. I think the guy that has picked the last 4 or 5 Super Bowl champions also picked that the Chiefs would be playing the Packers in the Super Bowl. So, they won that game, and then in this game they were in position to win again. They just didn't win. The Falcons just took advantage of some defensive mishaps and won the game. I'm not going to say that they're overrated after 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. As much as I don't like the Eagles, I'm just going to be honest about it. I don't think they're overrated. I do think that they need to execute more when it comes to being down there and make sure that they score touchdowns and not field goals. And I will say that maybe that the early 4th down that they went on in the first quarter was a mistake. Maybe they should have just took the points at that time, because if you think about it, you add those points, Falcons don't win that game. But like I said, there's a lot of things that people can say about that game. Like Mark said, the defense gave up a touchdown when it was only a minute and some seconds left in the game. So you got that, and they basically scored that within like 35 to 48 seconds, something like that. So that was not good when it came to that. But I'm not gonna say they're overrated. I just think it's too soon to say that.
Yeah, I'm with that. But Mark, I want to address something right quick, because as the local Kellen Moore person here, right? So I just want to point something out in this game, right? Because this was the Eagles all yesterday when they needed 3 yards or less. Second quarter, 4th and 3. Hurts got a 23-yard rush. That's a first down. Second quarter, they had a 2nd and 1. Saquon Barkley got him 5 yards. That was a first down. Okay, so we go to that was the third quarter on the 2nd and 1. Fourth quarter, 4th and 1, 3-yard run, first down. Fourth quarter again, 3rd and 2. Remember, just note in that red zone, it was a 3rd and 3. This is a 3rd and 2. Hurts got a 12-yard run, first down. Fourth down again, 2nd and 1, a 2-yard rush. They get the first down. Fourth quarter again, 6 minutes, 51 seconds left. First and first. You already know what they did. Tush push. So I don't care what nobody say about when you want to talk about the play calling. When you get green checks on every time you needed less than 3 yards and ran the ball and got it, run the ball, you win the game. That's why they blaming the offensive coordinator. That's why. I'm sorry. I just gave you the stats right there. It's right there. Every time they need 3 or less yards and ran the ball, they won. Almost sat in the chat and told you run the ball.
And I agree with Mark. I agree with Mark when he says, as a defensive player, you can be out there hitting. It's your job as a defender to go out there and hit. You can't give praise for someone for just being out there hitting. You got to make stops. If you're not making stops, hitting don't matter. Plain and simple.
And I want to address one more comment. Hey, Blaze, I'm not even blaming Kellen Moore at this point, because your quarterback know you can get 3 yards. He can call it audible. He chose to throw the ball. Do the math on that.
Jalen Hurts picked up even if that third down they ran the ball, Saquon not gonna get stopped for a loss. They're gonna get at least 1 or 2 yards. You got 1 yard to go on fourth down. Tush push. You Easy. Can't stop it. Every time they do tush push, they got like 2 or 3 yards. They can't stop it. So I'm not gonna sit here and say off one play in the game, Kellen Moore should have called this one play in the game and they would have won. No, if your defense played better, just a little bit better, they would have won. Not even a little bit better. After the first quarter, they scored on every drive.
Now, going back to what you just said here, though, Mark, so now you kind of agree with us that they're not overrated.
No, they're definitely overrated, because they don't they don't look like they're supposed to be the number 1 team in the NFC. They don't look like
the season.
I know, I'm just saying. They don't look like it, though. Like the defense.
But technically, they do, though.
Bijan was running all over them. Like the defense did that. Kirk
but
Cousins dotted them up. He was 29.
But I see what you're saying, but it was a bend don't break type of deal. Technically, like we said, if they got in the red zone and did some of the plays that they did, the Eagles scored every time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Almost every time they were in the red zone, their offense was unstoppable all night. That looks like a dominant NFC team. their defense, again, bend don't break. That's how Vic is because they have no pass rush. Kev said it earlier. They got 2 first round picks on the line. They couldn't get no rush. The Eagles, the last 2 years, when they can get to the quarterback, that's their game. They get to the quarterback and make you have to throw on long distance, and then next thing you know, they get a pick. Then they run the clock out. They run the ball, run the air out the ball, probably throw the ball up to AJ Brown. He was missed last night, but they're not overrated to me. They look like the team that they are.
It was just not one of the best teams in the NFC right now. Even last game, they didn't look like one of the best teams.
It's 2 weeks into the
conditions
season.
in Brazil. They should have lost.
I think we're overrating a lot of things right now. It's 2 weeks into the season.
2 weeks into the season, so, I get that, but so far,
we're already asking who's the best team in the NFC, AFC. It's 2 weeks into the season. We don't know those answers yet. It's way too early to say that.
It's a week by week.
So that's just me.
It is.
That's just me.
It's a week by week thing.
It's a week by week thing, but I don't think these questions should come until like after week 5 or 6 when more meaningful games have been played. It's too early into the season to make these claims because the Chiefs could win the first 2 games of the year and lose the last 15, and then we're gonna say, well, they were the best team the first 2 weeks, and then they're not. And then the Saints, they're 2-0 right now. They look like the best team in the NFC. They could easily not even win their division. So for me, it's just too soon to be saying any of this stuff. It's too soon to call somebody overrated. It's too soon to say that somebody's the best team in their conference. That's just me.
What you want Falcons offense? See why they're not being, why they're the best team right now? The defense, what the defense been doing? I mean, but I'm just, everybody pick games because you feel as though you think you know who's gonna win. And you was the only one, Dave, that thought the Falcons was gonna win that game.
Exactly.
I thought it too. I said
it's because of data. It's because of data that I use. It's because of research. It's because people kept saying that Kirk Cousins is not good in primetime games, and that's false. Monday night, especially, he's good. He's 3-1 in his last 4 Monday night games.
You are right about that.
It started like 0-9 though, Dave. That's why
he did, but that's when he was in Washington. That's the thing. That started when he was in Washington.
And every time he played the Eagles on a primetime game, they kind of handled them.
You're playing against the Eagles. The Eagles supposed to shut that down.
And I said
you're the number one team the way they talk about them.
And Jalen Collins supposed to be a force. He was gonna break it this year.
He disappeared. Jalen Collins supposed to be a force. The Devin White probably sitting back laughing like, "Ha! Look at they need me, boy."
Technically, they don't. Their linebackers play good. Play good for what they needed them to do.
They was missing tackles like crazy. Bijan Robinson had them in a blender.
I'm gonna tell you like this. If your front four don't get no pressure, your linebackers gonna get washed. Go watch the Cowboys game. Once that front four got washed, there's nothing them linebackers can do with it. I'm sorry.
No, man.
They was balling out there.
You got good linebackers.
This is no shot. This is no shot to your team, Mark. But y'all were 2-0 last year and didn't make the playoffs. It's too soon to say that someone is overrated or someone is best in the league. That's just me. It's too soon to say that. I'm going to continue to say that. That's just me. Y'all can have that and say whatever's clever. It doesn't matter to me. It's too soon for me to say that. So
I'm not looking at the playoffs. I'm looking at it week by week. I'm not looking at it towards the end of the season. See, now last year you made that conclusion because at the end of the season everything came together as a collective. So the way you saying it, like, oh yeah, it's only the first 2 weeks. These 2 weeks count. They count.
Every week counts. Every week counts. I'm not saying that it doesn't count.
This missing the first 2 games, that means something. The first 2 games can put you from first to last.
3 teams have won a Super Bowl after starting 0-2. The Giants.
Percentage of teams that made the playoffs after starting 0-2. You know how drastically that dropped?
Of course, it may drop. But what I'm saying is the chances are chances. We won't know this. So it's just, for me, it's too soon. That's all I'm going to say that until we get to week 5 or week 6. It's too soon. So just expect those answers from me.
That was gonna be my next question. I'm gonna be like, which week? All right, so week 5 or 6. All right,
that's when I'll have an answer.
I'm with you on that. I can agree with that one. 5 or 6, you should know who your team is by then.
Exactly. You don't know that in the first 2 weeks.
This was an electrifying show. Carl, I did not conveniently skip over that. I'm just letting you know that every time they ran on a 3rd and 3rd, anytime they needed 3 yards or less, they got a first down. I didn't conveniently skip over anything. There was actually one play where they threw it Saquon got down. I mean, his knee was down on the 1 yard line. That was actually the same exact play that they ran, but Saquon dropped it the second time. It was the second play. But technically, in that moment, when the Falcons don't have any more timeouts, run the ball once, tick, 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 tush push, ball game.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say too much. I think I'm blaming Kellen. I'm just talking about certain things at work. This episode was electrifying. I know people gonna have a lot to say to all of us that was on this panel before we actually close out.